Good evening, my Rio News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for March 5, 2024. And in the news this evening, electors claim they collected thousands. JLP and PNP politicians say they did not pay. Representatives of the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party have bemoaned the impact of money on last week's local government elections while accusing their opponents of buying votes. This has been a regular allegation following recent elections in Jamaica, with most politicians claiming that their hands are clean while pointing fingers at the other side. But island-wide checks by the news have revealed several electors who claimed that they cast their vote only after they were paid for the valuable X. I decide that me not vote, but on the man in my MP who me rate come beg me for vote for the councillor who me not rate. Me tell him say me not go out unless me get a thing, and him give me a thing. That's why me vote, said one elector in a rural constituency who refused to say how much she had been paid. Another voter in a corporate area constituency claimed that everyone in her community who demanded money for their ex was given $5,000 by the sitting councillor. But me get even more as me link the candidate on the other side and tell him that me get the $5,000 from the other person to vote, and him give me 5 and say me fi link a man after me vote, and him would give me 5 more if me vote for him. Me just make everybody know say me vote for the second man, and a $15,000 me collect on election day, said the man as he showed the news the green and orange shirts that he donned on election day, February 26. In another rural constituency, a voter argued that he had not seen his sitting councillor for months, and while he would always vote for the party his family has supported over the years, as he could not vote for the other party, he had to make sure that he collected a thing before he voted. I never wanted anything to vote, but I just think this was the right day to take something off the councillor, as me no know when me I go see him again, said the dreadlocked man. There is also the infamous video of the woman on election day who said she was voting for the JLP because they bought her 3 bags of chicken for her fish fry, and if the PNP come right now and buy me 4 bags of chicken, I'd do something day. During an extensive interview with the news last Thursday, veteran politician and a member of parliament for Portland Western Darrell Vaz said the issue of people demanding money for their vote has become more pervasive over the past decade. I started to notice that trend from the 2011 election, and it has gradually gotten worse. And when I say worse, it is that there are people on both sides of the political divide who are not prepared to vote without getting some form of benefit, whether it be cash or kind, Vaz told the news. He argued that this is a worrying sign, particularly at a time when fewer than 30% of people on the voters list turned out to cast their ballot in the just concluded local government elections. According to Vaz, those demanding payment for their votes are mostly in the younger generation who are the future. They're getting enumerated, but not for the right reasons. They're either getting enumerated because they need an ID or because they want to be in a position to extort money or kind for votes. It has increased without a shadow of a doubt, and I think in this election it was very, very prominent and across Jamaica, he said. It is not something that is limited to a particular geographic area, whether urban or rural, because what I have heard from my colleagues on both sides of the fence is that cash for votes was at play largely and widely. So what you are seeing, unfortunately, is that elections are becoming more and more transactional, added Vaz. He said to assist the 4 JLP councillors in his Portland Western constituency, he had election day costs related to lunch for workers, reimbursement for out-of-town voters, and the subsidies for drivers who were taking electors to polling stations to cast their votes, but he would not pay anyone to vote. Once you encourage that, you are in trouble. Once you start that, then you have no moral authority, declared Vaz, as he pointed out that when his late father Douglas was involved in representational politics in the mid-1970s until the late 1980s, there was no request for cash or kind to vote, and the workers for the 2 major political parties were not paid but turned out on election days for the love of their parties. I guess it is because of the political apathy that exists, because of the type of politics that we have played for years, why people are making the voting transactional, added Vaz. Under Section 91 of the Representation of the People Act, every person who directly or indirectly gives, lends or agrees to give or lend, or offers promises or promises to procure a vote shall be deemed guilty of bribery. The person who accepts the cash to vote is also guilty of an offense. Armed men invade Black River High School following student dispute. The Black River Police in St. Elizabeth are locked in a meeting with administrators at Black River High School after two armed men invaded the school compound Tuesday morning, causing panic among students and the staff. The news was informed that sometime after 11, two students were involved in a dispute. One student left the school compound and returned with two men armed with guns. The police were called, but the men exited the compound and escaped. There were no reports that the guns were discharged. The student is being questioned by the police in the presence of his parents and the school administrators in a bid to identify the perpetrators. The Child Protection and the Family Services Agency has reportedly been called in. JET calls for suspension of permit for company responsible for latest Rio Cobre fish kill. Environmental lobby group Jamaica Environmental Trust is calling for the temporary suspension of the permit issued to the company found to be responsible for Friday's fish kill in the Rio Cobre in St. Catherine. Executive Director of JET, Dr. Teresa Rodriguez Moody, says that the penalty should remain in place until stakeholders are satisfied that the preventative measures put in place will be effective. The pollutant and the source are being investigated by the National Environment and the Planning Agency, but residents of Linstead said the river had a strong caustic smell. NEPA has described the fish kill as minor, but Dr. Rodriguez Moody says that the issue is recurring too often and affecting many who depend on the river. Mrs. Rodriguez Moody has argued for stronger penalties and enforcement of environmental laws by NEPA. She has also put forward recommendations for better monitoring of the Rio Cobre.
We also want to see the monitoring, the data that comes along with it. Now, I understand that NEPA will say that they don't have a lot of staff, which makes it challenging, but this is why we're looking at automatic monitoring systems. There are tools that are in place that can be put in the river so that they can detect when there are high levels of pH or fecal coliform or whatever it is, so that there can be faster response time. And we're also looking at greater transparency. Greater transparency. The public should be told, because remember, we use a river. So if we can't use a river, tell us. If when it is safe to use, tell us.
Foul-mouthed teenager allegedly punches mom. An 18-year-old is alleged to have assaulted her 50-year-old mother, who tried to discipline her for using expletives. The teen, Kitana Manning, spent 4 nights in custody following an incident on February 28 at the complainant's home in the corporate area. It is alleged that Manning and her mother had an altercation after Manning used expletives in the presence of her child. Sometime thereafter, the altercation became physical, and Manning allegedly used a broom to hit her mother, then punched her in the face and tore her merino. Manning allegedly dragged her mother across the ground. Manning, who was in custody, did not enter a plea to the charge of assault occasioning actual bodily harm when she appeared in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court. She was unable to secure her station bail of $30,000. I want her to get bail because she has to look after her child and give me the opportunity to go back to my work, the mother said. Would you want to go to counseling? Senior Parish Judge Paula Blake Powell probed. She needs counseling, the mother said. She explained that Manning was once in the care of the Child Protection and the Family Services Agency, then got pregnant and was enrolled at one of the women's central locations. She was then offered a spot at a corporate area high school. From there, everything just exploded, the mother said. Blake Powell offered Manning bail in the sum of $50,000 in her own surety, with the condition that she reports to the police once weekly. She was also made the subject of a psychiatric evaluation and is to attend a mediation with her mother. The matter was adjourned until June 13 for mention. Man accused of hitting Transport Authority worker in face. The St. James Parish Court has set April 4 as the trial date for a man who allegedly hit a female Transport Authority worker in the face during a confrontation at the authority's office in Montego Bay, St. James last November. Roger Moore, who is charged with unlawful wounding, had his bail extended when he appeared before presiding judge Sasha Marie Smith Ashley last Friday. The complainant was not present during the proceedings. "You did hit her in the face?" Ashley asked Moore. "No," Moore replied stoutly. "So what happened to her face?" "You don't know what happened to her face," Ashley insisted. "Not to my knowledge. I chuck her because she attacked me." "She's lying," Moore maintained. "I am not guilty, but I am not afraid of the truth, so I will leave it to the court." Ashley subsequently set the trial date for April 4 and extended Moore's bail. The allegations against Moore stem from an incident on November 1, 2023, in which he reportedly went to the Transport Authority office in Montego Bay, where he began behaving boisterously while demanding to see the manager and making threats. Moore reportedly attempted to enter the manager's office but was prevented from doing so by staff, following which he assaulted them. During the fracas, Moore allegedly hit the woman in the face and bit another worker on the arm. He also allegedly damaged the company laptop. Moore was previously tried on February 13 on a charge of malicious destruction of property in relation to the incident. However, he was freed of that charge after the judge ruled that a guilty verdict could not be issued beyond a reasonable doubt because of disparity in the witnesses' evidence.